Months bled into a relentless, cold campaign. The indomitable Asterisk, led the charge, a spearhead forged of ancient steel, cutting through the void. The vast alien armada they had encountered near Earth, christened the Viridian Swarm by human intelligence, had scattered like dust, but Seraphina Vance's fleet was tenacious. Commander Thorn, utilizing newly developed long-range quantum entangled sensors, had meticulously tracked the fragmented retreats, triangulating their origin point, a nebula known only as the Verdant Veil, deep within unexplored territory. "Admiral, we've arrived." Captain Work's voice was grim. "The Verdant Veil. Sensor ghosting is extreme. They're using some kind of organic cloaking field, saturating the nebula with resonant frequencies that blind our conventional scans." Seraphina stared at the tactical display. The nebula was a roiling, emerald tempest on the screen, vast and menacing. They hide. Expected. They learned quickly that open confrontation isn't in their interest. "What do we know about their homeworld, Thorn?" Thorn, his face etched with fatigue from weeks of relentless work, pointed to a shimmering core within the nebula. "Primary source of the resonant frequencies emanates from that central star system, Admiral. It's a binary system, surrounded by a dense Dyson swarm of their organic constructs. Our analysis indicates they've converted multiple planets into resource extraction hubs, feeding the swarm. Their population, it's staggering. Billions, perhaps trillions of them. A truly galactic-scale civilization," Seraphina murmured, a cold glint in her eyes. "One that didn't account for a sleeping giant." "They're a hive mind, Admiral," Thorn continued, his voice low. "Or something akin to it. No discernible leadership structure on individual ships. Each unit functions as a part of a larger, coordinated whole. Their entire civilization is geared towards expansion and assimilation. They don't conquer planets, they consume them. The resources from those worlds are converted directly into more of their bioships, more of their soldiers." A heavy silence descended on the bridge. The implications were horrifying. This wasn't a conventional enemy. This was a plague. And they targeted Earth's dormant fleet because... Seraphina prodded, already knowing the answer. "Because they sensed the raw power, Admiral." Valerius Kalin, now a permanent fixture on the Indomitable's Bridge as a strategic advisor, interjected. He had recovered, the near-death experience leaving him with a steely resolve that matched Seraphina's own. "They are expansionist, but not reckless. They must have scanned the galaxy for threats, for obstacles to their growth. And they found us. A relic of immense power, dormant, but with the potential to wake. They saw a target, a resource to be neutralized before it became a problem. And now we are the problem," Seraphina finished, her gaze unwavering as she looked at the turbulent Emerald Nebula. "Rourke, prepare the assault fleet. Thorn, I want a direct, uncloaked communication sent into that nebula. A single message, on all frequencies, in every known galactic language, and then some. A message of warning. A message of intent." "Admiral, with respect," Rourke began, his brows furrowed. "A direct transmission. They'll pinpoint our exact location immediately. Their cloaking field is designed to prevent us from doing that." "Precisely," Seraphina countered, a faint, humorless smile touching her lips. "I want them to know we're here. I want them to know what's coming. They knocked on the wrong door. Now we bring the house down on them." Valerius felt a shiver of dread and exhilaration. This was it. Not just a defensive action, but a punitive expedition. Humanity, long the subject of whispers and forgotten histories, was about to reintroduce itself to a galaxy The warning that had forgotten shot, its a teeth, single blinding and the lance of cost, pure he energy, knew, would be erupted immense. from the ironclad's main cannon, lancing through the void like an angry god's finger. It detonated harmlessly among the emerald swarm, a silent, ephemeral blossom of light in the endless dark. But the alien fleet didn't flinch. Their formation held, their trajectory unwavering. If anything, their acceleration intensified, their myriad green lights solidifying into a coherent, predatory shape. They're not even reacting to the energy discharge, Commander. Anya's voice was strained, a desperate whisper barely audible above the rising shriek of proximity alarms. No evasive, no counterfire. They're just coming. Valerius watched, his jaw clenched, as the lead elements of the alien fleet resolved from indistinct blurs into crystalline, geometric horrors. They were not ships as humanity understood them. No discernible thrusters, no weapon ports, just obsidian shards of impossible design, pulsating with that sickly green light. And they were immense. Vast. Each one dwarfed the ironclad asterisk. Status of defensive platforms. He bid out, his gaze sweeping across the tactical. Their few reactivated planetary defense grids were still powering up, agonizingly slow. They were mere dust motes against this onslaught. 90% online, Commander, but their targeting solutions are failing. The aliens' energy signatures are scattering. Our autolocks can't keep a steady beat. Frustration, hot and bitter, surged through Valerius. 500,000 years, and they were being overwhelmed before they could even properly defend themselves. This wasn't a war, it was an execution. Unless helm, full reverse thrust. Target the nearest large contact. Weapons, prepare for a ramming maneuver. All active shields to maximum forward projection. Valerius's voice was calm, almost detached, but the words sent a ripple of shocked silence through the bridge. Anya's head snapped up, her eyes wide with disbelief. Commander, a ramming maneuver? Sir, that's suicidal. We're not built for that. We're built to buy time, Lieutenant Commander, Valerius countered, his gaze unwavering as he met her terrified stare. And right now, that's our only currency. If we hit them, if we make them feel something, they'll have to react. They'll have to acknowledge our existence. Even if it's just one ship. One of there's asterisk. His eyes flickered to the tactical display, specifically to Sector 7, where the faint, almost imperceptible blips of the dormant superdreadnoughts lay. They needed more time. They needed a jolt, a shockwave to rip through the sleep of millennia and wake the titans beneath the dust. And the ironclad was going to deliver that jolt. Prepare for impact. Valerius roared, his voice resonating with an almost fanatical conviction. Set collision course. Maximum velocity. The bridge was a maelstrom of activity. Crew members scrambled, securing their stations, their faces pale with a mixture of terror and grim determination. The ironclad shuddered, a deep, resonant groan echoing through its hull as its ancient engines strained, pushing them forward, then abruptly reversing, throwing them back into their seats with brutal force. The Emerald Armada swelled in the viewport, now so close that individual shards of the alien ships were visible, glinting with an unnerving, organic luster. Valerius strapped himself into his command chair, his hands gripping the armrests until his knuckles shone white. He felt the vibration of the ship, a tremor that ran from the deck plates through his very bones. This was it. The final act of the ironclad The first act of humanity's furious awakening. Impact in 10 seconds. Anya's voice was a desperate cry, barely audible over the screech of protesting metal. Valerius closed his eyes for a fleeting second, a single image flashing through his mind. Earth, blue and beautiful, veiled by the swirling clouds of its reawakening war fleet. Then his eyes snapped open. He met the terrified, resolute gazes of his crew. This was their defiance. This was humanity's scream into the void. For Earth. He bellowed, just as the ironclad slammed into the lead alien vessel with a deafening, tearing shriek of metal and a flash of blinding, incandescent green light. The bridge plunged into chaos, alarms shrieking, sparks showering, and the entire ship twisting violently under the unimaginable impact. The explosion was not just a sound, it was a physical force, a hammer blow that ripped through the asterisk ironclad asterisk. Valerius was flung from his command chair, the safety harness straining against his chest, the world a blur of tearing metal and flashing lights. The viewport, moments before filled with the grotesque beauty of the alien vessel, now displayed a maelstrom of emerald energy and shrapnel. A high-pitched whine, the death cry of a dying ship, screamed through the bridge. Damage report. Give me a damage report. Valerius gasped, pushing himself upright, his head throbbing. He tasted blood, a metallic tang on his tongue. Sparks rained down from mangled conduits above. Anya, miraculously still strapped to her console, coughed, a ragged sound. Hull breach on decks 3 through 7. Primary power core. Fluctuating. We're losing atmosphere on multiple sections. Her voice was hoarse, but her fingers still danced across the flickering holodisplays, desperately trying to triage the devastation. The alien vessel. It's still there. Heavily damaged, but it's reforming. It's absorbing the energy from our impact. Valerius stared, disbelief warring with a chilling realization. The crystalline structure of the alien ship, though shattered and rent, was indeed mending itself, the sickly green glow intensifying as it drew sustenance from the asterisk ironclad's asterisk death throes. This wasn't just a physical entity, it was something else, something terrifyingly resilient. They're a biological weapon. Valerius roared, the horror of the implications sinking in. They feed on kinetic energy. They're not ships, they're organisms. Suddenly, a new sound ripped through the bridge. A guttural, wet thudding, growing louder, closer. It wasn't the shriek of dying metal, but something organic, something large. Commander. A frantic voice shrieked from the back of the bridge. There are things boarding. Through the hull breach on deck 4. They're moving fast. The sound of tearing metal intensified, closer still. Valerius spun, drawing the energy pistol from his hip holster. He saw it then. A gaping, jagged hole ripped through the reinforced bulkhead leading to the main corridor. And from the darkness within, hulking shapes, impossibly tall and impossibly thin, began to emerge. Their forms were vaguely humanoid, but twisted, elongated, their skin a pallid, translucent green that pulsed with the same inner light as their ships. Their limbs ended in razor-sharp talons, and their heads. No discernible features, just a smooth, featureless dome, except for a single, multifaceted eye that glowed with cold, emerald malice. They moved with an unnerving grace, their movements fluid and silent despite their size. The first one stepped onto the bridge, its single eye sweeping over the terrified crew, then settling on Valerius. It raised a taloned hand, and a high-pitched, resonant hum filled the air, a sound that vibrated through his very bones, threatening to shatter them. Fire! Valerius bellowed, unleashing a burst of energy from his pistol. The beam struck the creature full in the chest. The energy dissipated against its pulsating green form, barely causing a ripple. The creature didn't even flinch. It merely tilted its featureless head, and the hum intensified, growing agonizingly loud. His crew, recovering from their initial shock, opened fire with their own sidearms, but their energy bolts merely splashed harmlessly against the invader. Despair, cold and absolute, threatened to overwhelm Valerius. They couldn't hurt them. They couldn't even slow them down. The creature took another step, then another, its movements deliberate, methodical. It was not attacking. It was asterisk observing asterisk. It was measuring. And then it extended its taloned hand towards Anya's console. No. Valerius roared, knowing instantly what it was after. Their tactical data. Their system layouts. the location of Sector 7. He fired again, a desperate, futile volley. The hum intensified to an unbearable pitch, and then, with a sickening asterisk crack asterisk, the creature's talons plunged into Anya's console, ripping through the reinforced casing as if it were paper. Her screen flickered violently, then went dark. A wave of silence, broken only by the continued shrieking of alarms and the guttural sounds of more creatures boarding, fell over the bridge. They were lost. And worse, their sacrifice had been in vain. The aliens had found them. The hum escalated, a deafening wave of resonant frequency that twisted the air itself. Valerius felt his teeth vibrate, his vision blurring at the edges. The hulking alien, its talons still embedded in Anya's destroyed console, seemed to glow with an inner fire, its single eye fixed on the remnants of the data streams. It wasn't just physical destruction. It was a targeted assault on their information. Then, an impossible sound cut through the cacophony. A deep, resonating asterisk thrum asterisk that vibrated through the very core of the asterisk ironclad asterisk. It wasn't mechanical. It was organic, vast, and imbued with an ancient, raw power. It was the sound of 1,000 slumbering giants beginning to stir. The alien on the bridge paused, its featureless head cocking slightly. The oppressive hum radiating from its form faltered, a flicker of something akin to confusion, or perhaps recognition, crossing its otherwise impassive face. The other boarding creatures, previously surging forward, froze mid-step, their emerald glow dimming. What was that? Anya whispered, pulling herself away from her ruined station, her eyes wide with a mixture of terror and nascent hope. Valerius felt it too, a profound shift in the very fabric of space around them. Not a technological signature, but a asterisk presence asterisk. A gravitational distortion of immense scale emanating from Sector 7. It was the subtle shudder of continental plates grinding, the first tremor before a devastating earthquake. Suddenly, the tactical display, though flickering erratically, showed new, massive contacts. Not a handful, but dozens, hundreds. They weren't moving with the smooth, rapid acceleration of the alien fleet. They were rising, slowly, inexorably, from the deep. "They're waking," Valerius breathed, a surge of fierce, desperate pride overriding the pain and despair. The asterisk ancients asterisk are waking. The alien on the bridge shrieked then, a sound that was less a vocalization and more a tearing of reality itself, a high-pitched, desperate whine. Its single eye pulsed erratically. It wrenched its talons from the console, green ichor dripping, and turned, its movements no longer graceful but frantic, back towards the gaping hull breach. The other boarding creatures echoed its distress, a chorus of guttural, panicked cries. They were retreating. "They're fleeing," Anya exclaimed, disbelief coloring her voice. "Why are they fleeing? We can't even scratch them." Valerius stared at the tactical display, a grim smile spreading across his bloodied face. The nascent blips from Sector 7 were now resolving into distinct, massive shapes. Shapes that eclipse even the largest of the alien vessels. Shapes that, for 500,000 years, had been nothing more than forgotten monuments. Because they felt it, Valerius rasped, his voice rough with emotion. They felt the tremor, the deep pulse of something far older, far more powerful in them. Something they never anticipated. The alien creatures were scrambling through the breach, their panicked cries echoing down the corridor. Valerius raised his energy pistol again, though he knew it was futile. This wasn't about killing them. It was about marking them. "Helm, patch me through to whatever communication channels are still active in Sector 7. He yelled, his voice strained but exultant. "We're alive. The ironclad is still here. Tell them the hunters have returned home." The asterisk ironclad asterisk shuddered again, but this time it wasn't from damage. It was from the immense gravitational pull of the awakening fleet. The entire ship groaned, not in protest, but in sympathetic vibration. On the viewport, the emerald swarm of alien ships was no longer a spearhead. It was a panicked, disorganized retreat, their impossible speeds now used for desperate flight. And beneath them, from the dark, swirling clouds of Earth's atmosphere, titanic shadows were emerging. Shapes that blotted out stars, vast and ancient, their hulls stirring with the dust of millennia. The ironclad asterisk had rammed an alien war machine, had given its life to trigger the alarm. And now, the true war fleet of humanity, the one everyone thought was a myth, was finally rising. Their sleep was over. The hunt had begun. The communication screen on the ironclad's asterisk bridge, battered and sparking, flickered to life. A face, severe and ancient, coalesced from the static. Admiral Seraphina Vance. Her eyes, the color of a stormy sea, surveyed the carnage of Valerius's bridge, then settled on his bloodied but defiant form. Valerius. Report. What in the blazes just happened up there? My sensors are screaming. I've got asterisk signatures asterisk from Sector 7 that haven't been active since the sundering. And a hostile fleet is in full retreat. Explain yourself, Commander. Her voice was a low growl, devoid of warmth, but laced with an undeniable edge of urgency. Valerius pushed himself to full height, ignoring the throbbing pain in his head. Admiral. Hostile contact, unknown origin. Biomorphic vessels. They absorb kinetic energy, regenerate. They attempted to breach Earth's defensive perimeter, heading directly for Sector 7. We engaged. The ironclad asterisk performed a ramming maneuver to ensure engagement. A muscle twitched in Seraphina's jaw. A ramming maneuver? You sacrificed your ship, Valerius? For what? A scouting vessel? Your orders were to observe and report, not to start a galactic incident. They bypassed our warning shots, Admiral. They were impervious to our energy weapons at standard charge. Their intent was clear: direct assault on the dormant fleet. They came for the ancient's asterisk. Valerius paused, letting the weight of the words hang in the air. And they succeeded in triggering a full, involuntary awakening. My apologies, Admiral. We bought you 500,000 years. I thought a few more minutes might be worth the cost. Seraphina's gaze sharpened, piercing, and analytical. Involuntary awakening. Explain the precise trigger. What was their reaction when Sector 7 began to stir? Terror, Admiral. Pure, unadulterated terror. The creatures that boarded the ironclad asterisk. They fled the moment the first of our dreadnoughts powered up. Their ships are in full retreat. They seem to understand the implications of what they've awakened. Valerius gestured weakly towards the viewport, where the emerald swarm was a receding blur, and in the foreground, impossibly massive shapes were slowly, majestically, emerging from the swirling dust clouds of Earth. They understand. Seraphina's voice was barely a whisper now, a chilling undercurrent beneath her usual severity. They came for the heart, Valerius. They sensed our greatest vulnerability, and they struck. And now they have awakened our greatest strength. An uncontrolled awakening. This is unprecedented. We have no protocols for this. We make them, Admiral. Valerius countered, his voice firm despite his exhaustion. They came to steal our sleep. Now we give them our fury. The communication flickered again, but now a new voice, equally grim, cut through. Admiral Vance, this is Captain Rourke, commanding the indomitable asterisk. We are fully online. Initial diagnostics indicate no major system degradation despite the duration of dormancy. We await your command, Admiral. Another voice chimed in, deeper, with a faint, almost mechanical hiss. This is the Leviathan asterisk. All systems green. Ready for deployment. One by one, the dormant giants reported in, their voices like the rumbling of ancient mountains. The tactical display, though still damaged, was now a vibrant tableau of power. Hundreds of ships, each one a relic of a forgotten age of war, were pulling themselves free of their subterranean berths, their titanic forms blotting out the distant stars. Seraphina's face remained stoic, but a flicker of something, a grim satisfaction, crossed her features. Rourke, Leviathan. All activated dreadnoughts and battleships. Form defensive perimeter around Earth. No engagement unless provoked. Let them run. For now. She turned her gaze back to Valerius, her expression unreadable. Valerius, your ship is dead. Your crew? Alive, Admiral. Most of them. We're evacuating now to the emergency shelters. We held the line. And we showed them what happens when you disturb a sleeping Titan. Indeed you did, Commander, Seraphina said, a hint of something that might have been pride in her voice. Prepare for transport back to the primary command center. You have much to report. And we have a galaxy to reintroduce ourselves to. The transmission ended, leaving Valerius in the shattered silence of the asterisk ironclad's asterisk bridge. Outside, the new dawn of humanity's vengeance was rising, not with the sun, but with the roar of 1,000 awakening engines, ready to hunt. Admiral Seraphina Vance stood on the command deck of the asterisk Indomitable Asterisk, the flagship of humanity's awakened fleet. Below her, the vast tactical display glowed with the raw power of hundreds of battle-ready vessels. They were moving, forming a colossal defensive screen around Earth, each dreadnought a mountain of metal and ancient fury. The alien fleet, now a distant, terrified swarm, was a mere anomaly on the edge of the system. Status of the alien advance. Seraphina's voice, though calm, held an undercurrent of steel. They're breaking contact, Admiral, Captain Work reported, his voice crisp and professional. Accelerating out of the system at maximum velocity. Their energy signatures are dissipating. It appears they have no interest in further engagement with our activated assets. A faint smile touched Rourke's lips as he spoke the last words, a shared understanding of the sheer, overwhelming force they now commanded. Seraphina's gaze remained fixed on the retreating emerald blips. Their retreat is informative. They came with surgical precision, targeting our oldest slumbering sites. They knew what they were looking for, and they found it. Now they know what they awakened. She turned to her intelligence officer, Commander Elias Thorne, a gaunt man with a formidable intellect. Thorne, I want every available sensor array focused on that retreating fleet. I want to know their trajectory, their point of origin, their home system. Every single scrap of data. They disturbed our rest. We will disturb theirs. Understood, Admiral. Commencing deep space triangulation. It will take time, given their velocity and unknown propulsion methods, but we will find them. Thorne's fingers flew across his console, the screens before him filling with complex algorithms. And what of our own assets? Seraphina continued, her focus shifting to the activated fleet. Damage assessments. Resource allocation. We haven't run at full capacity in 500 millennia. There will be unforeseen complications. Initial reports are surprisingly positive, Admiral, Rourke replied. The automated maintenance systems held up remarkably well. Minor power fluctuations on some of the older cruisers, but nothing critical. The core dreadnoughts, designed for extended dormancy, are running at optimal performance. We are ready for combat, Admiral. We are more than ready. A low, resonant hum, the collective power of the asterisk Indomitable's asterisk engines, vibrated through the deck plates. Seraphina walked to the massive viewport, gazing out at the armada. Each ship was a testament to humanity's forgotten might, a dark, silent promise to anyone who dared to threaten them. The colossal asterisk Leviathan asterisk drifted past, its ancient hull scared but unyielding, a predator stirring from a deep sleep. Contact command centers on Earth, Seraphina ordered, her voice carrying a newfound authority. Inform them the fleet is fully online. Advise them to prepare for a galaxy-wide reintroduction protocol. We have been a sleeping giant. Now we are awake, and we have questions. Her eyes narrowed, following the last faint trace of the retreating alien fleet. Valerius and his crew bought us the vital seconds we needed. Now we use them. This is not just about defense, Captain Work. This is about establishing a new galactic order. We were hunted. We were almost erased. They will learn that humanity does not forget, and humanity does not forgive easily. She turned from the viewport, her expression hard, determined. Prepare the fleet for long-range deployment. The hunt begins. The gravity of her words hung in the air, a cold, unyielding promise. The galaxy was about to learn that disturbing humanity's long slumber came with an unimaginable price. Months bled into a relentless, cold campaign. The indomitable asterisk, led the charge, a spearhead forged of ancient steel, cutting through the void. The vast alien armada they had encountered near Earth, christened the Viridian Swarm by human intelligence, had scattered like dust, but Seraphina Vance's fleet was tenacious. Commander Thorne, utilizing newly developed long-range quantum-entangled sensors, had meticulously tracked the fragmented retreats, triangulating their origin point, a nebula known only as the Verdant Veil, deep within unexplored territory. Admiral, we've arrived. Captain Work's voice was grim. The Verdant Veil. Sensor ghosting is extreme. They're using some kind of organic cloaking field, saturating the nebula with resonant frequencies that blind our conventional scans. Seraphina stared at the tactical display. The nebula was a roiling, emerald tempest on the screen, vast and menacing. They hide. Expected. They learned quickly that open confrontation isn't in their interest. What do we know about their homeworld, Thorne? Thorne, his face etched with fatigue from weeks of relentless work, pointed to a shimmering core within the nebula. Primary source of the resonant frequencies emanates from that central star system, Admiral. It's a binary system, surrounded by a dense Dyson swarm of their organic constructs. Our analysis indicates they've converted multiple planets into resource extraction hubs, feeding the swarm. Their population. It's staggering. Billions, perhaps trillions of them. A truly galactic-scale civilization, Seraphina murmured, a cold glint in her eyes. One that didn't account for a sleeping giant. They're a hive mind, Admiral, Thorne continued, his voice low. Or something akin to it. No discernible leadership structure on individual ships. Each unit functions as a part of a larger, coordinated whole. Their entire civilization is geared towards expansion and assimilation. They don't conquer planets, they consume them. The resources from those worlds are converted directly into more of their bioships, more of their soldiers. A heavy silence descended on the bridge. The implications were horrifying. This wasn't a conventional enemy. This was a plague. And they targeted Earth's dormant fleet because... Seraphina prodded, already knowing the answer. Because they sensed the raw power, Admiral. Valerius Kalin, now a permanent fixture on the Indomitable's bridge as a strategic advisor, interjected. He had recovered, the near-death experience leaving him with a steely resolve that matched Seraphina's own. They are expansionist, but not reckless. They must have scanned the galaxy for threats, for obstacles to their growth. And they found us. A relic of immense power, dormant, but with the potential to wake. They saw a target, a resource to be neutralized before it became a problem. And now we are the problem. Seraphina finished, her gaze unwavering as she looked at the turbulent Emerald Nebula. Rourke, prepare the assault fleet. Thorne, I want a direct, uncloaked communication sent into that nebula. A single message, on all frequencies, in every known galactic language, and then some. A message of warning. a message of intent. "Admiral," with respect, Rourke began, his brows furrowed. "A direct transmission. They'll pinpoint our exact location immediately. Their cloaking field is designed to prevent us from doing that." "Precisely," Serafina countered, a faint, humorless smile touching her lips. "I want them to know we're here. I want them to know what's coming. They knocked on the wrong door. Now we bring the house down on them." Valerius felt a shiver of dread and exhilaration. This was it. Not just a defensive action, but a punitive expedition. Humanity, long the subject of whispers and forgotten histories, was about to reintroduce itself to a galaxy that had forgotten its teeth. And the cost, he knew, would be immense. The single, uncloaked transmission, a raw burst of ancient human fury, tore through the verdant veil. It spoke of violated slumber, of forgotten power, of an unimaginable reckoning. On the bridge of the asterisk, indomitable asterisk, Serafina watched, her face grimly satisfied, as the shimmering chaos of the nebula intensified. The Viridian swarm had received their message. "They're reacting, Admiral," Captain Rourke announced, his voice tight with anticipation. "Their energy signatures are flaring. They're consolidating, forming defensive positions around their primary star system. They know we're here. They know what's coming." Valerius felt a tremor of adrenaline. The silence of the void was about to be shattered by a symphony of destruction. "They're preparing for a stand," he observed, his gaze fixed on the evolving patterns of emerald light. "They underestimated us once. They won't make that mistake again." "No," Serafina corrected, her voice a low, dangerous growl. "They didn't underestimate us. They simply failed to account for our nature. They see a foe. We see an infection. Thorn, prepare the fleet-wide targeting solutions. Prioritize their resource extraction hubs. We will starve the disease at its source." Thorn's fingers flew across his console. "Understood, Admiral." Linking all dreadnoughts, battleships, and cruisers. Targeting solutions locked on energy conduits, biomatter refineries, and propagation centers. Estimated time to first strike: 5 minutes. The asterisk, indomitable asterisk, shifted, its massive frame trembling as the ancient weapon systems, powered by the collective might of an awakened civilization, hummed to life. The viewport, normally a window to quiet stars, was now a kaleidoscope of warning lights and targeting grids. "This is not a war, gentlemen," Serafina stated, her voice resonating with an almost religious fervor that sent chills down Valerius's spine. "This is a purge. They sought to consume us in our sleep. They broke the ancient peace. And for that, they will be utterly, irrevocably consumed." Rourke nodded, his expression grim but resolute. "All weapon batteries charged, Admiral. Ready to fire on your command." Valerius looked out at the vast, chaotic beauty of the verdant veil, now scarred by the aggressive light of the alien swarm. He thought of Earth, so vulnerable and peaceful during its millennia of slumber. He thought of the asterisk ironclad asterisk, a small sacrifice that had ignited a galactic wildfire. "Fire," Serafina commanded, her voice cutting through the tension like a razor. The void erupted. Hundreds of blinding lances of pure energy, the accumulated wrath of 500 millennia, tore through the nebula. They were not precise, surgical strikes. They were an apocalyptic deluge. The Viridian swarm, caught in their frantic defensive formations, were hit by a force they could not comprehend. Organic constructs, once regenerating and impervious, simply vaporized in incandescent bursts of green and white light. Entire Dyson swarms, structures that had taken untold centuries to build, disintegrated into dust. The tactical display became a furious dance of red and green, the emerald blips of the alien fleet diminishing at an impossible rate. The nebula itself seemed to recoil from the sheer violence, its vibrant colors momentarily dimmed by the sheer power unleashed. The asterisk, indomitable asterisk, shook with the recoil of its own colossal weaponry. a thunderous roar echoing through its hull. Valerius watched, his eyes wide, as a fundamental truth unfolded before him. The aliens hadn't stumbled upon a sleeping warfleet. They had stumbled upon a sleeping apex predator and the predator was now wide awake, hungry, and very, very angry. This was the cost of disturbing humanity's long slumber. This was not a climactic battle. It was a brutal, overwhelming demonstration. The galaxy would remember this day, and humanity would ensure they never forgot.